Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is a pleasure to be back on the air with you again. This is the good old Bill Crane Report. My friend Duane Weiss is right here with
Hey,
me.
everybody.
And we're going to have a dandy show.
Explain what all the letters and all the
man.
officials trying to keep us off the air. Here we are again.
Hear it again. We're like
There is an
Freddy
angry
Krueger. We keep crawling out of the grave.
There
and
is an
coming
angry
back.
mob outside, and they got torches and a rope. I don't know what the rope is for.
Is the guy with the pitchfork out
Yeah,
there
he's
too?
out there too.
Well, folks, this is going to be a miscellaneous show of a whole bunch of short items.
But high value.
High value is right. Duane,
Yes, sir.
one of the things, by the way, folks, we are doing this on April Fool's Day.
How appropriate.
Which is extremely appropriate for us. I got some things here.
Lay it on us.
You know, we must also start with a miserable situation. What is Disney doing down there, getting involved
I
in
don't know.
something that involves the state of Florida in their educational system?
I don't know why they got the hair up their nose.
Uh,
I don't know. I thought the same thing. You're in an entertainment business. The best that you can do is please half and irritate half.
exactly.
And you don't want to be irritating half your customers. And then, if you look at Disney as Disney, not Disney World,
Right.
but Disney, with all the stuff that they're in,
corporation. Yeah.
the movies they make,
Yeah.
the money they make off things that they're actually mad about, say they're mad about, is just 180 degrees.
Yeah. I mean, they are Mr. Conservative, Main Street, America,
Oh.
apple pie, motherhood, all rolled the flag, all rolled
They got
together.
the blow 'em up, shoot 'em up movies. They got
Folks, just in case we started in the middle of this conversation, the state of Florida is telling teachers they cannot teach or discuss with kindergarten students.
kindergarten through third grade.
Yep, about gender identification and sex education.
CRT.
Yeah.
All that.
Let me tell you something. Teachers, in my estimation, have no business forcing this kind of stuff down the throats of little kids.
That's not education.
That's parents' jobs, not
Yep,
theirs.
That's right.
And you know, I'm sick and tired of the teachers. They have overstepped their bounds. They decide what they're going to teach, when they're going to teach it, how they're going to teach it, and they answer to nobody.
That's right.
Unbelievable. And when they feel like shutting down the country with COVID, they do it. And they just tell the folks in Washington, well, we're shutting it down.
As far as Disney, I didn't understand that either. And I'm actually a Disney World fan.
Yeah,
I
it's
love
a
that
great
place.
place.
I love that place.
Yep. I tell you, and I've said this before, I'll say it one more time, then I'll hopefully never say it again. Two things in my life have impressed me are people that got their act together. Disney World is one, the U.S. Army is the other.
right.
They get an answer for everything.
They can handle people. They got everything thought out.
Yep. A fun park should be for family fun,
Yeah.
not politics.
Absolutely.
It's a bad move on their part. And I hope the people let them know about it.
We used to go there just to get away from everything.
Sure. Yeah.
I was talking to a lady one time. Was on that the monorail thing. We were sitting on one
Oh, yeah.
side, and you
Yeah,
face
yeah.
another. There was another couple there from New Jersey, and she says asked something. I said, well, she said, well, we come down here every year. She said, not with kids. She said, my kids are gone. We're grandparents, but she said, I come down here because it's a happy place, and I forget all the world and all the problems. She says, we spend 4 or 5 days here, and we go home feeling good again.
Yeah.
And, that's probably what we're doing, too.
I was on the monorail. Who comes and sits down beside me?
Mickey.
No. The guy at the Foxborough Company
Oh,
that
okay.
was the head of marketing that hired me into product sales.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, Bob Shaw from Walpole. A nice, nice guy. This morning, they did a poll on voter enthusiasm for the upcoming fall elections,
Okay.
the midterms.
Yep.
Among
Hard to believe that's here
among
already.
Republicans, the enthusiasm level is 67%. Among Democrats, it's 50%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that reflects that 17%
yeah.
differential.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty much reflects the voting differential in
I
this
think that's
country.
good. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah. Now, tell me something. Changing the subject here. I get so many changes of subjects coming up, folks. You may want to get a pen and a pencil here. Keep track. Biden taps the petroleum reserves. Well, this is going to take care of high prices. Now, let me ask you a question.
1 million barrels.
Yeah, a day.
Yeah, a day. Oh,
Yeah. Or is it a week?
No, I think I thought it was a day.
I think it's a day, yeah.
Let's see what's the difference?
Yeah, it's up to, I think it's going to be 80 million barrels total. So 80 days. Well, anyway, now let me ask you something. These things go down in those salt mines, the oil.
Yeah,
is.
the oil, the reserve. Yeah.
There's Louisiana, Texas, and some other places got it. So how does that oil get there? Does the government buy it from the producers?
What I understand is they bought it.
Yes. Okay. So, as it comes up, certainly the government is not going to get in the wholesale or retail business or refining business for this stuff, so they're going to sell it. Are they making a profit?
Well, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But knowing the government, there's so much cost that they so inefficient in what they do.
Yeah.
The cost is so high.
Yeah.
But absolutely, they probably put that oil up in there at, and I'm only guessing. I don't know, but if I had to guess, I'd say as long as it's been there, they probably paid $18 a barrel.
Yeah, I was going to say $20 a barrel.
$20 a barrel,
Yeah.
someplace in there.
And
And
now,
it could be even less, or it could be more.
Sure.
But it's someplace way below what it is now. Simply because it's like you going out and buying something today, hold it for 20 years, and all of a sudden, hey,
Yeah.
that's worth a lot of money today.
so this is a profit-making deal for the Democrats. If
It could
be. Well, yeah. I mean,
But here, here's the problem, Bill. It's like Norfolk saying, we have a water shortage, folks. We're not pumping enough water up into for you people that got town water, we're not getting enough water up into our towers. So what do you say? I want everybody to go out and buy one of these, and we'll dump it in the tank. And everybody goes, whoa, yay!
yeah, I really thought, I really wish that I felt the town of Norfolk was managing the water resources properly. I swear to you, I would sleep better at night if I thought there was a plan.
Yeah.
But I really don't think there's much of a plan.
But
we always seem to be one well short.
Sure. Well, I
Yeah.
think that's. But my point was that this is not going to change your water situation.
No.
That $1 million or 1 million barrels a day, looking at the overall consumption per day, is a drop in the bucket.
Absolutely.
It's a feel good. Look at me. Look what I did. Something good.
I can't think of anything else to do,
Yep.
so we'll try this. And hopefully the people will shut up for a little
It's
while.
been done before. It doesn't
Yeah.
make any difference. It's. I guess you would call it a talking point or a.
I don't know. You're right. He can say, I did something.
Right.
Yeah. It won't, but like you, it's not going to make a bloody bit of difference.
Because first of all, the oil we're not a real factor in the oil business, anybody, but nobody, probably Saudi Arabia could be, because they have the resources, and the biggest thing is that they have the pumping facilities.
Yeah, they got the delivery system.
They have the delivery system. But overall, some person doing this, it has a little effect, but even you can't turn around and blame. Everybody said, well, gee, Biden got elected and the price went way up. The president of the United States, whether it be Biden or Trump or anybody, they do not affect the price of oil. That's awful. International market, that's.
Well, I think they do. I mean, when they start writing regulations through the EPA, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't drill here,
but the price is determined internationally.
Yeah, I know that.
It's not determined here.
But when we developed fracking,
yeah,
we drove the prices way down, and that's what peed off Saudi Arabia.
It did go down, but it wasn't just us. It was the world went into a pandemic. And
I'm talking
way
before
back.
that, way back.
Yeah,
when we first started fracking, we put an awful lot of oil on the market.
Yeah, we did.
And that really took the Saudis off.
But that also shut everybody. It was self-limiting, because as soon as the oil price went down, the fracking price per barrel hits that level, that break-even point, and then they got to shut it off again.
Well, you know what? The frackers were very short-sighted.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they saw a quick profit,
and
and
dump
they
it all
couldn't wait to jump in and get it.
Bill, where I come from, it's no different.
Yeah.
If you get a year, now I don't know what's going to happen now with the fertilizer situation and stuff.
Yeah.
But if you get a year where soybeans, for example, for some reason or other, say Brazil's got wiped out, or
has a drought or something. Yeah.
Soybean prices go way up. So what happened? Everybody that's got a square foot of land plants soybeans the next season. Now there's so damn many soybeans coming in.
Where's the price go?
Go way the hell down again. You're always playing catch up there.
I know.
You never get ahead of it unless you're really lucky and guessed.
Or unless, like with the stock market, your dollar cost average in.
Yeah.
Produce a moderate amount and manage it well.
I remember when commodities were dumped. It wasn't too long ago they were dumping milk.
Absolutely.
It was cheaper to take it out the back door and dump it in the ground than to ship it.
They were giving corn away.
Yeah.
Well, here's another thing come out this morning. You really don't know about this stuff, but sources tell Fox News. And these kinds of things bother me, because it would be great if they'd put a name with the source.
Mm-hmm.
But some say this administration is slow walking weapons to the Ukraine because Biden doesn't want to provoke Putin. Now, I'll buy into that, because he certainly has pulled his horns in. Biden.
Yeah,
There's a lot more we can do. He promised those drones. They're not over there yet.
Well, go ahead. I got.
Go ahead.
We don't know, and we won't know.
See, we don't know. And again, this leak here.
If we know, somebody ought to be in jail.
Yeah.
Because that means that information is out.
Yeah.
That's the kind of information you don't want your enemy to know. Now, if it's true, and I don't know anymore who's winning, who's losing, who's what happened. We don't know, because the media picks up on the littlest thing and blows it up as a fact when it's just rumor, it's innuendo. It could be anything. But the problem, what I see here, if the photographic evidence, for example, that you're seeing Russian tanks blown up, and this convoy blown up, and that blown up, it's being blown up somehow, because Ukraine ain't got much.
I know.
But they're blowing them up with something.
Yeah, the NATO countries are sending in a lot of Stinger
a lot of
missiles.
stuff. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like
There's a lot of stuff coming in.
Yeah.
But we don't know, and we shouldn't know, Because if we know, then the Kremlin knows.
Do you know what? You just said something wonderful. We don't know because we don't have a need to know.
No, we don't have a need to. It's
No.
it's not like that. What's that newspaper that you sell at the checkout there? The
The Inquirer?
Inquirer, yeah. People want to know.
Yeah.
Well, of course they want to know, but they don't.
But they don't need to know. And it was like World War II. You know, I can remember my grandmother, pull the shades down at night. You know, we don't want them. If
Oh,
they're
yeah.
flying over, we don't want
Why-
them to
oh,
see
they fly
lights.
over, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, we took that loose lips sink ships seriously.
Oh, yeah. Well, one thing that is, chances are somebody talking in a bar is not going to end up with a ship sinking. It's so remote. But it gives people something to do to get involved. They feel good because I'm not saying nothing. I'm part of the solution here.
Yeah, yeah. Patriotism is something that we've gotten away from in this
Oh, yeah,
country.
absolutely.
I mean, we want to dump on this country. I don't, but so many of
But we did
Some
a lot,
folks.
we did a lot of things in World War II just for that reason, just to bring up the morale and bring up the participation. Kids used to go out and pick up old pots and pans, pieces of metal and stuff.
Absolutely.
It really didn't make any difference in the end, but it gave them some part. They are now part of the whole project.
Yep. And I can remember my grandmother, especially my grandmother, she was into it. But she said, eat all your food. Eat all your food that's on your plate. You're not going to get seconds because we have to take care of our boys
Yeah,
overseas. Yeah.
I remember our grandmother still have it. She called it a fat pot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grease and oils you wanted to save because
Yep.
they're supposed to be saved.
Oh, yeah.
I think she was saving them into the 50s.
People took their responsibilities seriously.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We don't even. I'm not going to get going on that. The 4 leading states in the country, leading with the amount of technology companies, high-tech companies.
High-tech companies.
Yep, the 4 states. I think California is easy, number 1.
I would guess that.
I think Texas is easy, number 2.
Mm-hmm.
3 and 4 are toughies.
Yeah, I there's probably something there I wouldn't think of either. I got to think of technology. Maybe Illinois, someplace in that area.
New York is
New
number
York.
3.
Okay, well, all right.
And number 4, I think if we sat long enough, we might come up with number 4, Florida.
Florida. Okay. See, I wouldn't have. I don't think I would have. Well, I would have had to
Yeah.
by process of elimination, but that wouldn't have been one that came to
There's
mind.
been a huge influx in the last few years to Florida.
In Texas,
Good
that's
tax laws,
Yeah.
Available property, and a workforce, and a good climate.
Texas has that same thing.
Bingo.
You go to Texas. It's been a couple of years now since we've been there, but we have relatives and friends that live there that did the migration. And back in it, first time I noticed it, that I'm thinking, these are all my accounts that used to be here. That's where the hell they went.
Yeah.
There they are in these big, fancy industrial parks. They look like little cities themselves. My God, I used to sell that company. They
Yeah.
just closed the doors.
Yep. Yep.
And beautiful places. You could like Plano, Texas.
Right.
That used to be Ross Perot when he was the whatever that computer company he had.
Yeah.
And then Frito-Lay moved in, and after that, it's like, look out.
Katie by the door, they're coming in the
That's
windows.
right.
Amazing. But I was surprised at Florida being in the top. And New York, too. I never thought of New York.
I
that
didn't
way.
either.
I'll bet you there's a lot of small
Yeah,
high-tech companies around New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Well, President Biden spoke this morning.
Did he? Oh, good for him.
Yep, the reason for the high prices for gas.
Oh, God.
He spelled it out again. COVID and Putin. Nothing to do with stopping pipelines, nothing to do with shutting down our production in this country. Nope. COVID and Putin. That's the reasons. Great.
Well, some of that's valid, but it's not and all. Because oil also, unfortunately, is a psychological pricing. If people think it's going to be short, the oil producers say, all right, it's going to be short. So it's actually a bidding process, is the oil. Mm-hmm. It's not somebody says, all right, here's my barrel. I want $50 for it or $75. And
it's a controlled product.
Yeah.
I mean, the cartels, OPEC, and the other one, really control a great deal of the production.
Mm-hmm. So they control everything.
Saudi Arabia has tried to stabilize the price. They want between $70 and $80 a barrel. Yeah. And what they're saying is that's going to give you $2.50 gas a gallon, and that should make everybody reasonably happy.
Correct. But Saudi Arabia, again, is starting to, and they have in the past, but not as strong as they are now, starting to recognize that they have an asset that they can use politically. They used to just say, well, this is how much money we want. Now they're thinking, some of these places, Dubai and Saudi Arabia and all that, money isn't meaning them so much anymore because it's a small country, small population. How many more Mercedes can you guys buy? What do you want?
Yeah.
So now they're looking political. And Saudi Arabia is saying to the world, particularly to us, don't you support Iran any which way, because they are dedicated to our destruction.
And what is Putin doing and I'll tell you who's behind this is John Kerry. Because he hammered out that first agreement with Iran.
That was absolutely stupid.
And that is exactly what he is pushing Biden into doing. And Biden is going to do it, and we will pay a terrible price for it. Yep.
I think if we would not be diddling around with Iran, Saudi could pump enough oil to change this whole market.
Of course they could. It's ridiculous.
But now they know they've got something that they can use, a lever.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The world has changed a lot.
Big time.
Yeah.
And us messing with the Saudis is a tremendous mistake. Well, now, we shouldn't be having anything to do with those people. They make women ride in the back seats of cars. They can't go out without a male present. Look, they are in the Stone Age with that.
No
but that's a society, okay?
Yep.
We can say to them, it would be a lot better if you folks modernized and all that, and then shut up.
Yeah.
Because it's not our country.
That's right.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
It's like saying, well, they dress funny. Well, yeah, they do dress like women.
Yeah.
But so what?
Listen.
That's what they do.
That's right. I'm here. I'm me. You're over there, and you're you. That's it. Mm-hmm. This isn't that hard. What, sir?
Yes, sir.
Is the average price for a 30-year mortgage today?
Interest
from
rate?
Freddie Mac, yes, the interest rate.
I don't know, 3.25?
4.67.
4.67. Okay. I really haven't watched much on it because
it was 3.22 on January 1st.
Okay.
It's up 1.5 points, and going higher. They're talking now of 4 or 5 or maybe 6 half-point raises in the Fed rate. Now that's 3%. Okay. So add 3% more to 4.67, and guess what you're up to? Nearly 8%.
Well, just for me, I'm not anybody out there buying a house. I'm sorry, no offense, but for me, I'm tired of getting 0.5% on my savings.
Me too.
I'd like to see some of those old people that live on Social Security, fixed incomes, and investments. Some of these interest rates to start going up.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something, Duane. We treat the elderly in this country as poorly as any bloody
Absolutely.
group going. And this town doesn't do a damn thing for the elderly.
Even to go back, even interest rates, for example, when we have a 3% or 2.85 something on home interest rate, that means that you or I or anybody else that's got any savings for lifetime is not getting anything on the other end. We're supplementing the young yup couples that's going to buy the house.
Absolutely. When the interest rates were it was really the basis for the investment plan for the elderly. They put it in to that 6.5% certificate of deposit
Yep.
for 5 years, and bingo, bango, bingo, bango. There you go. 6.5% or 5.5% or whatever. It fluctuates from year to year, but still, it was something they could count on. When that Fed rate went to zero, guess
Yeah.
what? 0.1%.
That's what my money market paid
Yeah.
last month.
Yeah.
0.1% of 1%.
Exactly. And who is the people that are being hurt? Well, it's not the Wall Street financiers. It's not people making $200,000 or $300,000 a year. It's the elderly on a fixed income.
I remember.
And who cares about them?
Apparently nobody.
Nobody.
I remember as a kid. Now this is I somehow accumulated $100 doing odd jobs and stuff, and I had some stuff that I wanted to buy, but my mother taught me into putting it in the bank, just getting a savings account. And I was probably 10, 8, someplace in there, old enough that I could remember it, but I don't remember the details. And I got 5%. 5%.
How about those apples?
And she told me, she says, if you keep that in there until next summer, you'd have $105. I'm going, whoa, I'm going to be rich. Rich. But then the Zebco company came out with that spin cast reel, and it was
Yeah, that was the end of
$19.99,
that
boy.
story.
That went $20 right there.
Yeah, I remember when I first started to work, I would go up Thursday nights to the credit union here in town and deposit some money from my first paychecks.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. Into a savings account. I was proud of myself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They had a little book, they wrote it in.
Yeah. I know. And then, every once in a while, they'd add interest.
The interest,
to
yeah,
it,
over in that
and
little
then the
column.
line, and oh boy. If you are appointed the chief executive officer of Amazon starting next year, would you take the job?
With the way things go, what's the difference? I'll keep it till they fire me and put all that money in the bank.
Well, would
Are you asking, would I take the job for what purpose?
Would you ask them how much you're going to make?
Yeah, probably.
Well, I'll answer it for you. $212 million is what he made last year.
I'll take 0.5% of that.
No, hang out for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Send them a letter of interest.
You see these companies, and they let the CEO go, and he lost $50 million, but they paid him a $7 million salary. I said, Craig, I could have walked in there and lost $50 million, and I'd work for half of that.
And then, as they boot the bozo out the door, they say, hey, wait a minute, come back.
You got a
I get a
bonus coming."
severance package
Yeah.
for you. Here's $4 million.
Yeah.
It's a great world.
It's unbelievable. You were just talking about price houses or mortgages. This Wednesday, I know you don't get the Globe anymore. It says we're now the third highest house values in the United States. Of course, you know who's won. This surprised me. I would. It's logical, but I just wouldn't have thought about it.
I think California.
Hawaii.
Oh, wow, there you
Yeah,
go.
I didn't
Yeah.
think. California's second, and,
Yeah.
we're third. Or, yeah, third highest. And according to this, right up there. I don't know what a young couple today going out buying a house. I don't know how they do it. I cannot understand how you can come up with a median house price in Massachusetts of $538,000, and that's just a median price. That's not a mansion. It's not a dump, but
No.
it's something that's probably a starter home's in there in 500,000.
You know, that's absolutely incredible.
And you take a young couple of, I don't know, 21, 22, 23, 24, and not without some fancy high-tech degree, each one starting at $100,000, but you take a kid getting out of high school or whatever, and, even now they want probably 10% down. It used to be 5. That's $50,000. Now, nobody's walking around today with $50,000.
They get it from their folks.
Yeah, you got to have help from somebody.
Yeah. See, I think that there's a group of people in this country, a very large group of people, guys that worked in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and they had these investment plans.
Mm-hmm.
They had pensions.
Yeah.
They have accrued a
Yeah.
lot
Lot of wealth.
of money. Then we get the 401ks coming on board and the IRAs. And guys, regular working guys, become millionaires.
Yeah.
Because, especially with the IRAs, 401ks, because you can't be pulling money out all the time. You can get some money out.
Yeah.
But you're not yanking it out all the time.
Correct.
Yeah, like a trading account. So it sits for 25 or 30 years. I know a fellow in town that just a regular Joe was astounded when he realized how much the stock was that he inherited from his folks when they passed away.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. $3 million.
Yeah.
So I think that's where most kids get their down payments.
And in the Midwest, you're going to get you have a lot of land millionaires, I think we used to call them. They don't have it in their banking account, but they got it in their assets.
That's it.
You got a little 100 acres it's just a little plot.
Yeah, 160 is a.
Yeah, I mean, to have a farm, you got to at least 300 to 500 to start with as just a small farm. But even at $9,000 or $10,000 an acre today, a little 100 acres, that's $1 million right there.
I interviewed at the Cashco Company, a small valve company out in Ellsworth, Kansas. I interviewed twice with them to become the national sales manager. I wanted to accept the job both times, but I got vetoed at home. The wife, the kids.
I hear you there.
The wife and the kids wanted no part of it, and so I simply couldn't do it.
Would you have to move?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The guy out there, nice guy, farmer though. He was running a company. He was had a degree in accounting, so I think he was a CPA. But he was a farmer at heart.
Mm-hmm. And
he told me many times, he said, Bill, I'm the happiest man in the world when I'm riding that tractor around. And I talked to him at great length. We were big friends. And he understood why I didn't take the job both times, but we talked a lot about money, investing and stuff like that. Puts his money in the ground. That's what he told me. He says, I put my money in the ground.
Yeah.
And he was buying farmland a bit here, a piece there. Maybe not a complete unit, 160 acres, but maybe 35 acres.
Yeah.
And paying $250 an acre.
Yeah, I remember. We
Duane.
below that.
Now that was back in, oh shoot, 1982,
Yeah,
1984.
you go back, I go back when it's
Yeah.
under $100
I mean,
an acre.
When you stop and consider what he invested
Yep.
and what I'm sure, has, if he's still alive, well, hell, he may well still be alive because I think he was younger than me when I was talking to him. But anyway, I mean, he's a millionaire many times over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I said to myself, huh, stock market's good with me. I don't see me buying land. He was a hell of a lot smarter than I was.
Yeah, well, that's the old saying. God ain't making no more land.
That's right. And you know what? Buy the land, lease it out,
Yep.
and it pays the taxes.
Hell, you can make a lot of money today leasing out land because of
That's right.
crop values.
I don't know what farmland goes for in the Midwest these days.
It's anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 an acre.
Yeah.
A lot depends on where it is and what is it, a heavier, dark, loomy soil, or is it a sandy soil? Although sandy soil used to go for a lot less, and now sandy soil from certain areas is actually as much or more because there's certain kind of soybeans that like that kind of soil, and soybeans is a big cash crop.
Yeah. Yep. Pigs like them.
They don't eat. And then they make them industrially. The oils and the stuff. The plastics are made out of a certain percentage of that. Everybody's worried though this year is that price of natural gas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not so much gasoline, natural gas,
fertilizer, yeah.
fertilizer.
Yeah.
Because your ammonium nitrates is made right out of natural gas.
Yeah.
And I forgot what it was. It was 16. Gee, don't quote me if anybody's got the actual quote. But I'm thinking about 160 or $1,600 a metric ton for ammonium nitrate fertilizer. That's phenomenal. I mean,
Yeah.
and you're talking farmers out there. They get deliveries of 40, 50 ton at a time, and it just pulls in, and it's.
But isn't it great to think about John Kerry and Biden, and they're throttling down the natural gas industry and the petroleum industry, just as though, we're saving the planet. And if we affect the climate a minute fraction, less than 1%, a tenth of 1%, they consider that a tremendous victory.
Yeah.
But look what it costs us in the long run.
That's a good point. Look at what happened now. What did you hear 5 weeks ago plus? No fossil fuels. Bad fossil fuels. No drilling. No gas. No fuel,
pipelines.
No pipelines. All of a sudden, things like that. We might be short of gas and fuel oil, and all of a sudden, where did all them big mouths go? They just shut right up. You don't hear them talking about that much anymore.
They're still howling. AOC had quite a temper tantrum a couple of days ago.
But they never said, what's the alternative? Yeah. You could not peg one of them, hold them down and say, all right, we'll stop using fossil fuels. What is the alternative? Mm-hmm. Well, we'll use electricity. Oh, really? How are you going to generate that electricity?
How do you generate that?
Well, wind and solar.
Yeah.
Okay, you got about 10% of your
they
power there. Well, now
I
what are
think
you
the
going to do?
last number I saw, Duane, was less than 13%
Yeah.
of alternative fuels. I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
Anything that is not.
Not fossil.
Yeah.
That's right. That's pretty accurate.
And but you know what? They're running out of places to do this and things to do. I mean, what the hell are we going to have with solar panels from east to west and north to south in this country?
And people are the NIMBY factor is there. They're not going to let you put windmills. We know what happened with our St. Kennedy, that our late Teddy boy.
I go sailing out there.
I can see a windmill on the horizon. My God, that's not right. In the meantime, the next day he says again about being green. We got to clean up the environment, but when they want to do something, not in my backyard.
Let me tell you something, Duane. I'm all for cleaning up the environment.
Me too, but
let's start with the ocean.
Yep.
That's where life began.
That is the key to the whole planet.
That's right. The
It's
entire ecosystem is. If you have poisoned the ocean, you're not in good shape.
That's right.
And yet, it's continually trashed, and nobody says or does a damn thing about it.
Yeah.
It's like the politicians with Social Security and Medicare. Even though we are running out, the sands of time are running out on these programs, and we're going to have a massive refinance of them. We've got our heads buried right in the sand.
Everybody sees the
ignoring it.
problem, but nobody wants to do anything about it.
That's exactly right. And these gutless worms down in Washington, there's not one of them that says, when are we going to fix Social Security?
It's not like we're trying to come up with the formula for nuclear fusion.
Yeah.
This is a simple fix.
Very simple.
A few tweaks here and a few tweaks there, and it's end the problem.
And you're back in positive territory again. And by the way, that's another thing, too. What fools we mortals be. The little old ladies in their tennis shoes won, and we shut down the nuclear power plants.
Yep.
Clean, non-polluting power.
That's right.
And now the scientists are all saying now, well,
now they're saying
nuclear power, we should really be looking at that now.
Well, I think some of the nuclear scientists or the scientific community knew all along that we could not achieve a power source divorced from fossil fuels without including nuclear in it. It just wasn't. It's not possible, unless, again, fusion should suddenly pop up. But we don't look for anything in our lifetime or our kids' lifetime.
You know, I've talked to a couple of my green acquaintances, and I don't know if I'll call them friends, but this country never does anything until we're backed into a damn corner, and we have to go with the Manhattan Project. And that's what we want. We want to stop gasoline dead in its tracks, so we're forced to find an alternative. And American ingenuity will find it, but not until we're forced into it. This is their thinking, and that is about as addle-minded as it gets. Don't you think that we have been thinking from time immemorial on a way to generate power?
Oh, absolutely.
Other than oil or gas or hydroelectric or whatever.
Started out in thousands of BC, and we used animal power.
Yeah.
And then we finally found windmills, and we found water power and water wheels, and
that whole bunch of people drives me nuts.
Yeah. Another thing, we're gonna, like you said, back ourselves into a corner here, because there's no fossil fuel and no expansion in the fossil fuel business with no alternative. What do you see in the automobiles today? electric cars.
Yeah.
More and more and more.
Yeah.
Everything is electric. But I don't see
they're
any.
talking about them, Duane, but they're not producing them.
But
Tesla
I
is,
don't
but-
see any expansion of the power plants.
No.
You cannot keep expanding the end use of electricity without expanding the production.
Can you imagine when some green person buys a Tesla and, well, I take it home and plug it in and I get a full tank of electricity for $30. Well, guess what?
It ain't going to stay that
And
way.
no, it ain't. The price of electricity in Great Britain has doubled this year.
Yep.
And the price of natural gas is 6 times higher
that's
than
right.
it is in the U.S.
That's right.
Can you imagine those poor people over there? They must be freezing their butts off.
Yep.
But
But we do not force. We take one side of it and look at it and say, well, we're going to cure this problem by making electric cars, and electric this and
Yeah.
electric that, and
Yeah.
electric fuel
Yeah.
fuel or not fuel pumps, heat pumps.
sure,
All the other, we're going to electrify all the buildings. Remember, this Green New Deal? Electrify every building. There'll be no fossil fuels
yeah,
in it. They would
yeah.
be electrically heated.
yeah. And you know what, Duane? What happens when we finally get oil and everything out of our society, and we find that the alternative power supplies only can do 26.5%
Then you're in trouble.
of our power?
'Cause you gotta
Where
lo-
do we get the other 70?
You can't
plus?
because there's a lead and lag so far there that there's an interim area in the middle that people are going to die.
That's right.
There's just no.
People are going to die.
You can't even depend anymore today. I don't know about some of the countries, but you cannot depend anymore in the western half of the United States on hydroelectric.
I know it.
I just saw a thing the other night about Hoover Dam, and I think it was on Fox Business, and they were in there. And we used to go to Vegas a lot,
Yeah.
and we liked to go up to Lake Mead on Sunday
Yeah.
morning because there was this little real weird paddle boat thing. It was a breakfast cruise, and it
Yeah.
was really nice after spending days in the casino. And you go up there, and they had a beautiful buffet breakfast, and they took you around the lake, and they went down to the dam, and they had bands playing and stuff on it, and it was really relaxing and fun. And every year we would go there, and even the guy on the boat would point out there's a white spot on the walls where the water used to be. Every year he said see that rock there? Well, last year that rock was underwater. See this rock? He said this one's going to be open exposed this year. Every year that lake went down and down and down. I was shocked the other night how low that
Yes.
is, and they made a point that they are at the apex of the power that they can produce anymore out of Hoover Dam. Every time we get this drought goes on and long term, there's less water available to produce electricity.
Well, not only that, but the folks upstream
Yeah,
are tapping off the water for irrigation, for all sorts
That's
of other
right.
things, and for housing, for expansion. So there is a water crisis.
Yeah.
And we better realize it. But again, like Social Security, like Medicare, we'll just keep our head in the sands and wait till people start dying.
yeah. That's,
But if we don't get serious about figuring out desalinization plants on a large basis, we're going to be in a heap of trouble.
oh yeah.
And it's coming. And yet, do you hear anything from those rascals in Washington? No.
Well, you got a politician is a politician.
Yep.
His number one priority is to get reelected.
That's right.
He doesn't really give a damn what his constituents or the rest of the country does. I want to get reelected. I want this job because, face it, it's a retirement while you're working.
And it also feeds my ego. It
Oh,
gives me power.
absolutely.
People genuflect before me, and blah 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 blah. I mean, You know, I used to admire Barry Goldwater, Ronald Reagan, great presidents. Boy, I'll tell you, we have gone round the bend. These are nothing but thieves.
Oh, yeah.
They're charlatans. They are a dreadful bunch of people.
That they are.
Yeah? And I'll tell you what's coming out now is what they have covered up for 3 years, Hunter Biden's laptop. And we're going to find out things in that laptop that's going to curl your hair.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah. And the New York Times admitted they were wrong about that. And by the way, it's I saw a statistic earlier this week, 259 days since ABC, CBS, or NBC has mentioned the Hunter Biden laptop.
That
it's a total news blackout.
Blackout, yeah.
And when will they ever say anything? No, they won't. And you know what? That's a real shame.
Oh, yeah, it is. But, you know, the politicians themselves are not anxious to have, even, they say they are, but they're really not. The Republicans on one side say, you know, we got 200 some days ago, they were screaming about Hunter Biden's laptop and what he was doing and making the money. But then, you know, when it came down, push came to shove, she says, yeah, we'll look at that. We should look at this. And we should, whoa, don't come over my side of the aisle. Because if you exposed all the skeletons that Washington's got, I don't care which side of the aisle it is, you wouldn't have cemeteries big enough to bury them.
As Bucky Kalu once told me, you know, when this is all over, there won't be enough light poles in the world to hang these bastards from.
That's right. That's right. And that outrageous indignation that they can stand there and he's doing this and he's doing that. In the meantime, you're just as big a sinner as he is, maybe bigger.
It's amazing. Holier than thou.
And I said he. I'm not using it just because masculine. It's also feminine, though.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, we can't go there. I got this one. I love this one. A disbarred Massachusetts attorney and his wife have pleaded guilty to running mortgage fraud schemes. Barry Wayne Plunkett, 61, and Nancy Plunkett, 56, of Barnstable, pleaded guilty to bank fraud, aggravated identity threats, blah, 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 blah. They're talking about huge amounts of money. Now, the last time I checked, wasn't a lawyer an officer of the court?
Certainly is.
And weren't they up here on this pedestal?
Yep.
And we're down here?
They had a code of ethics that was higher than the norm.
Well, you know what? I feel the same way about lawyers as I do about police officers when they screw up.
Yep.
They are given special privileges. They've got to live up to them.
That's right.
And this charming pair should be put in prison for the rest of their life.
Yep, but unfortunately, our society is rife with that.
By the way, digging into things here, he said, the Wall Street Journal. I let my subscription lapse because it gets expensive.
That it does.
And then I wait 6 months, and I signed back up for the introductory rate for a year you know. After I signed up, in about a 2-week time frame,
Oh, I get those. I haven't had it for a year or two, and I still get those every week.
I get them. I got 3 of them.
Yeah.
I got these 2 the same day.
Yeah, they just bury you with all that.
I'm telling you, talk about incompetence.
Yeah.
I mean, if I weren't a patient chap,
I haven't got but one issue of Smithsonian since I renewed it,
really,
and they
a lag time?
no, they're having paper problems.
Oh, really? Yes. You know, I saw a couple of the magazines I get from Maine Sportsman
Yep.
and the Maine Outdoorsman, both put little boxes on the second page of
Okay.
the issue, and it said, "Please don't blame us for late deliveries. This has got to do with paper problems
Yep.
and also the post office."
Okay.
So, yeah, imagine that.
I got a question before we
Go ahead.
We're getting short here on this one. Who does this describe? Well, you know, you're a student of history, but over 2 decades, blank, the individual has achieved total dominance of the country's government, security services, ruling with a tiny inner circle, marginalizing dissent, and jailing or killing his opposition.
Adolf Hitler?
Adolf Hitler. You know what they're talking about?
Putin.
He parallels Adolf history. Adolf history.
Yeah.
Adolf Hitler. Perfect.
Look at him absorbing
Right.
some of the smaller
Oh,
former
absolutely.
Russian enclaves from the USSR. He's doing the same thing Hitler did.
Yeah.
I'll eat this elephant one bite at a time.
Finally, somebody put something in last week. He writes, "Why can't world leaders see the parallel with Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany? Why can't NATO see Putin for what he is?" And I said that right. We said that right off the bat, that he was just like Adolf Hitler. In fact, I think they ought to call him Adolf Putin.
Yeah.
And then every time they show him with that little mustache.
Yeah. You know, I'll tell you why the Europeans are afraid of him. First of all, it's got to do with petroleum products, natural gas, and all of that. And secondly, they can see the parallel path that he's taking with Hitler.
Oh, absolutely.
And they are absolutely afraid of this guy.
One of the English publications said he should change his name to Putler.
Yeah, Putler. That's good. Oh man.
But that's the danger, and we'll next time I think we'll touch on that, of putting all your eggs in one basket, so to speak, to depend on one country or one area for critical things that you need. That is, today you cannot do that anymore.
We need to talk about that. Yeah. Are we?
Yeah, we already had the 2. So
Okay. Well, folks, we're going to take a little break, and we'll be back shortly with part 2 of this extravaganza.
make some popcorn.
Yeah. Go hit the head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or both.
Or both.